Hello, everybody. This is Deborah Mayers here on day 12 of my 23-day journey of reading at least one excerpt from my book each day, Through His Eyes, my journey from sexual abuse victim to victim over the abuse in Jesus Christ. As I said, this is day number 12, and I'm going to read today about a subject that is quite compelling, and a lot of people have this question: why didn't the victim report the perpetrator, or the predator, I like to call them? Why was that? Now, I just need to digress a little bit and explain that the first incident came when I was around toddler age, and I couldn't verbalize, but I remember some things that happened, and thinking back on them, I realized what happened, and some adults got involved as much as they could. But like I said, that was a time when people didn't really talk about it. And I remember, I'll just be candid. I remember in this first scenario, I was in the bathtub, and my aunt on my mom's side, who was married to my uncle, my biological uncle, was giving me a bath and saw something. I don't know what she saw. She saw something. And I remember her running out of the bathroom, just leaving me there, running out. And then I remember being at the doctor's office with my aunt and my mother. We were at the doctor's office. I remember being on a table. I remember one of the nurse, I guess they were examining me or something, and everybody looked at each other shocked, and they left the room. And then I remember the doctor. The reason I remember them so vividly, well, I have a memory. I can remember things from 6 months of age. But anyway, the doctor came in, and he looked, and everybody was talking. Couldn't, I was 3 years, probably about 2 or 3 years old. I couldn't but I knew it was something that they were disturbed about. I could tell whatever it was, in my mind, it wasn't something good. And I guess they just wrapped me up and took me back home. Now, today's standard, there would have been an investigation. I've been taken to CPS, and on and on and on. Children didn't have the rights then that they have now. But anyway, however, there were other incidents where I was able to say something. And I kind of wondered why I never said anything. But then you get into your head, well, who are you going to tell? Because in my situation, I felt that my mother would get in trouble. I don't know where they came from, but I was very accurate in that, thinking that, this was going to be, if I told, my mother was going to get in trouble. I didn't know if it was jail or what, but I knew it wasn't good, so I didn't say anything. But the last person who, started violating me in that area, I just simply told him, if you do it again, I'm going to tell my mother. I was just done. I was just done. And so, but the main crux of it is, when I talk about, why they didn't tell, or why somebody didn't say anything, there's so many different scenarios and reasons, and that I can't go into because I can only speak from my own experience. But I do know this. From what I can gather and the way when I've talked to other people that have been through some similar situations, there was an underlying conditioning that we seem to have gone through that just let us know non-verbally, don't say anything. It's just how it was, the nature of the beast. You just don't say anything, and you have to realize this was at a time when children say yes ma'am, no ma'am. In some cultures, like in my parents, with my mother's background, being from the South, you didn't even look an adult in the face. If you looked an adult in their face, they considered that being womanish, and you're out of your place, and you could get slapped in the face even by a neighbor or a total stranger because you had stepped out of your place as a child. So there's so many different reasons. And so in this particular excerpt of my book, I just simply titled it Keep Quiet. And it says, I believe we were conditioned long before the abuse not to tell. It is my personal belief that a message was sent unintentionally to be silent. In my generation, we were taught to be seen and not heard, not to make a fuss, cause any trouble, and not to express any negative emotions. Most parents, unless really twisted, and we have some of those, never want to set their children up for sexual abuse. Therefore, they must engage themselves in a conversation about sexual abuse with their child long before the child is lured into a grooming relationship with a pedophile. This is so true. Children need to know, first of all, that they are highly valued and will be expected to speak out against anything or anyone they are not comfortable with when it comes to their bodies. Children need that explained to them at a very, very young age. They have been given a sense and a radar that God has given them, and they need to follow that and not be in fear. They need to understand, this is what I wrote, that God has given them a very special sensor, somewhat like a special radar system which alerts them to the truth that what is about to happen to them is not to be permitted and must be reported immediately. They need to know beforehand, it's okay to tell. I want you to tell. Come to me. Tell me. I'm here for you to tell me. In fact, if you don't tell me, I'm going to be upset. Not if you do tell me, I'm going to be upset. In fact, you expect it. Let's look at Proverbs 22:6, where it says, train up your child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Because this is something I believe will carry into adulthood. When a child is taught, when you're uncomfortable with a situation or a person or something you just feel is a violation to your person, your body, your mind, you need to speak up and say something and stop the abuse, mental or physical or sexual. Now, I wrote with this, instead of the prayer that I added, the Lord gave me a word. And this is the word he gave me. And this is not only for me, It's for anyone who's been violated or abused in this way, or any way for that matter. You are forever my child, whom I have known before the foundations of the earth. Greater am I who is within you than he who is in the world. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I am the glory and the lifter of your head and your rear guard. I will keep you in perfect peace as you keep your mind stayed and fixed on me. You are more than a conqueror through my firstborn Son, Christ Jesus. I will surely deliver, bless, and protect you until the day he comes to lead you back to me in your heavenly home. I will be with you always, even unto the ends of the earth, never leaving or forsaking you. My kingdom has come. My will is being done in your precious life. You are not rejected. You are completely accepted by my you are